Well, today I'm going to be making a piece based on some material I found in the last episode where I basically went through, had a quick instant ideas run through of my source material. So this is what I'm going to do here, and also I'm going to be trying going back to what I used to do. Is I started to look on the internet for these because I went into the local craft store, and these scalpel blades were sort of like £5 for a pack of five. So I looked on the internet. So yes, you can buy knives on the internet, it seems, of these surgical blades, and this was about £13 for a pack of 100. So it's quite a saving here. So let's see, get this open, and you have like about five in these metal packs, and they're non-sterilized, so you can't perform actual surgery with them. So I always like these because I like the way, as I've said before I believe I've said before in a go look through of my toolbox. I like the way that because I've got quite small hands. I like the way that the handle of the blade sits in my palm, so I can do there, cut this way like a surgeon, like, as opposed to some of my other ones, which I've got one in here. This one, it doesn't sit quite as well. It extends out a bit. It's still good, but I like the way that this one sits better. So here I've got what I'm going to use these two here as the backdrop. So this I can safely just tear away, put to one side, and I've got my ruler here. So beforehand, because usually I trim stuff afterwards, but in this case, so I don't accidentally go over, I shall do it here now. It's a very good metal ruler that I bought probably around 25 years ago now, and it hasn't let me down. So, because one thing, I did have just a plain metal ruler before, and sometimes these things slip. This has a foam grip glued into here, so that helps stop slippage. So the good thing about these is these blades are sharp as well. So you're going to put this to one side. So here I have the background. Put out of the way here. And what I was going to put, I decided to put on the right hand side here is this starving child, to contrast against the extreme wealth and opulence of America. And I'm going to use that text on the other side. It says measurements of wealth, just to hammer the point home. So I don't need to be quite as delicate with this one, because I'm not trying to cut through the middle of an image. So, because otherwise what I would do is I would cut these out, which I have here previously or something, cut these out, and then I could just a lot more delicately slice them up. So I'll put these in here so they're all out the way. Put this away neatly. So first I shall decide if I'm going to do it in a very neat cut box or more of like a punk rock slash. I think because of the type of message I'm doing, I'll do a bit of a punk rock slash. So it gives all the effects of an old punk zine, and I'll figure out probably put it, maybe put it on the top there or underneath the person, we'll see. And just to make it easier to cut out, so I have as much paper to be working with, or to fight with, I shall just cut this out here. And again, I can put that to one side to be used another day. So, yeah, try and do this quickly for a video, because otherwise you will be just sitting here watching me very slowly and delicately hack something apart. I mean, I could have a section where things are kind of sped up, like one of those old videos from the 1910s, but it will kind of almost defeat the point of showing you things and explaining what I'm doing. As always with these things, sometimes you have to go to a little bit more. So instead of doing one long continuous cut around here, which can be murder on my hands, especially now I'm getting older, I will sometimes just chip away at the picture. Similar way to how a sculptor would a block of whatever material they're working with. So that way I can also very much quicker see where I'm going, if I'm going right or wrong. Because the thing about this kind of analog collage is, as opposed to digital collage, where if you make a mistake, in digital, if you make a mistake, you can just, especially if you save as you go, you've only wasted like 1 or 2 steps in the process. And sometimes, but with this is only unless you've got enough time and resources to scan it in and print it off, you have this is your own one and only copy of that resource. So there are very rarely any happy accidents. There are just accidents, and you could almost have an entire piece or original concept ruined. So it's a bit tidying up. I'm feeling a lot better already, having a very small handle. I mean, that other one I used before was good because it had like a rubber grip, which is quite good for an old man's hands sometimes. But I do like the small handle and these kind of blades. And it's also just back to my roots, because as you will see from the Art Pirate logo, these are the literal scalpels I used for, not the blade, obviously, I've just put that in. These are the literal scalpels I used for the Art Pirate logo. I just like popped one of them in a scanner bed, scanned it in, and went with it. So this is almost done now. Just little bits at a time, and also it's very much easier to chip it away at little bits at a time than it's very difficult to like that. This isn't the kind of tool you can do that with. If you had something like a, you couldn't even, I don't suppose you could even do it with any kind of a CNC machine, because they would have to work to, it'd be far too much effort to program the damn thing in. To, if you're going to do that kind of thing, you might as well then do it, you might as well do it digitally. The thing about it being your one shot, sometimes it encourages you to be a bit more creative, because if you do make a mistake, which thankfully I haven't on this occasion, it gives you you have to be a bit more creative about how you're going to fix it. So if I'd have accidentally, for instance, cut through his shoulder there, I would have to then reshape it to try and make it work. So its edge is looking fairly white because of the paper, so what I will then do is I will draw around the side with this gel pen here, or this ink pen. So it gives you a much more defined outline. The same way how some people will, the reason why some people might wear something like eyeliner is that defines the shape of the eye. So this will more clearly show the outline of the in this case the child. And I think the white outlines just look a bit coarse to my taste. Right, so I can't really do anything about the fact that, you know, the photo ended. Not much, can't do much about the fact the photo ended at this part. It's a case of it is what it is, I'm afraid. However, if I just curve a few things, put some notches in there, it may look a little like his knuckles. Kind of settled and it kind of worked. So again, a pen. And that can just be seen as like the shape of the log or the tree branch. So yeah, so I will then, my trusty Pritt stick, and I'm still waiting for that sponsorship. Glue this up. I like the glue sticks, as I did try using liquid glue very early on, and it just wrinkled up the paper. It just didn't work for me. And some of the more I do use this one as a hard rule. I know some people in some other countries usually use a UHU stick, and I think you can get them over here, but I know Pritt stick works. So, and they're not particularly expensive. So that's that there. I have here. I think I might actually put it down here with under the child, because it hammers the point home a bit harder. This is one of those pieces that there are some pieces that I know that because I do merch, and some of them I instantly know, well, this might make a good t-shirt. This one, I know this one's not going to be a t-shirt or even a print. So, however, I'm sure I will find something to do with it. I shall publish it in somehow, in some shape or form. So that's that cut off. I accidentally went into here a bit. So, and I will get rid of this bit where it's torn. If I was going to do that, I would then totally tear the edges and go full whole hog with that to make it look more deliberate and obvious. So now I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to put my signature on this thing, because well, I don't want to put it, well, since I'm the only one that's going to be using it, I could actually just put it in the bottom corner. There's a bit of a tear in the fold here that's ruined the ink a bit. So what I do there with something like that is I will colour it in and smooth it over there, none the wiser. Right, so I could then tap this down a bit. Another good use for a knife is you can put a small amount of the glue on it and get under there. And so I could sign it, let's see where. I shall sign it just on this bottom here. So that didn't work, there was not enough room. So let's see. I'll just do it here. Now, I also have to write it on the back as well when I remember to. There you go. So this is the final piece. See what you think. And so, see if that's given you any kind of insight into how I do things. Obviously how you do it may be different. So, and maybe should be different. So again, as always, like and subscribe. Follow, support me if you can. Support me on Patreon, and any artists out there. There's basically an open submission policy for my Collage Art magazine, or you could call it a YouTube exhibition that will be once a month, and details for submitting to that are in the show notes in the description, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.